Today is nostalgic for me. See, when I was first getting into computer building, I was having troubles in life. I couldn't hold down a job. I didn't want to go to school. And while that's still accurate and I don't like working, things have gotten better and I have adult money now, so I don't have as many problems in life. And sometimes I can afford to buy cool stuff to show you guys on this channel. So back then when I built my first machine, hell, when I built my third machine even, I didn't have money to go balls to the walls with a great GPU, right? So I was always kind of way older jet. I mean, we were talking like the 900 series was out and I was gaming on a 750 Ti for like 150 bucks. I didn't have a super good GPU, and with today's prices being balls to the walls expensive, it's still kind of hard to get one of those upper echelon tier GPUs, especially at an affordable price. It's not always feasible for someone, especially someone like me back then, to buy a just sick GPU. So in 2016, the 10 series cards dropped, and this was my chance. The first time in my life that I would buy a good GPU. Day one, I picked up the 1070 Founders Edition card. I had this thing before any of my friends even had a chance to upgrade. I wanted to have the best. And while it wasn't the best, I mean, in terms of what I had been using up to that point, it was the best. And I didn't know what FPS was until that day. That's the day that I knew what FPS really meant. From there, I'd move on to a 2070 Super, and then from that, I would move into a 3080. But the 10 series card is really what kick-started my love for PC building and gaming on the PC instead of just playing Xbox on the couch. Sadly, today is not a test of the 1070. That would have been the ultimate nostalgia bomb. But we have a 10 series card nonetheless. Today, we are taking a look at the 1050 Ti. Graciously lent to me from a friend, the same friend that let me borrow the 560 Ti that we tested all the way back at the beginning of this channel's lifespan. Now I want to take a trip down memory lane and test this GPU. I want to see if it's a viable budget option for 2023. And I want to show you some bench scores and some gaming benches, FPS that you can get in gaming with this card to see or to let you know if this is a viable option for that. We want to know if it's going to do the trick. So without further ado, let's hop into the benches first. So to start off the benches, of course, we ran Heaven. Now in Heaven, we pulled a score of 2,058. Our minimum FPS was 40, our max was 160, and our average was right around 82 frames per second. We did get some chop at the night scene, but that's just kind of how it goes as far as I know. Not the best Heaven run on this channel, but now I want to take a look at Superposition on medium 1080p preset, and we're going to see how that performed. Superposition was iffy. We pulled a score of 5,152 with a max FPS of 49. Our minimum in this run was 31 and our average was 38. Superposition is a spicy test, and when it comes to the older hardware, it's no surprise that it was kind of a little struggle bus. Now from Superposition, I wanted to try Time Spy and Firestrike. Now in Time Spy, we pulled a score of 2,611. Not a very good score. Attempts were fine though, and in Firestrike, it was more of the same. Some non-impressive number like 6,940. Attempts staying fine again in the low 50s, but ultimately nothing to write home about in either of these tests. It was basically like watching a PowerPoint slideshow through most of it. But that's not what we're here for, right? We're always here for the gaming tests, okay? And we're gonna move on over to gaming right now, starting with Counter-Strike Go. And I just wanna say that I am absolutely hyped for CS2. Someone who's a big fan of Counter-Strike and been playing since Source and then played Go for quite a while, but I haven't played the game in like 5 years. I'm super excited for CS2. And in Counter-Strike here, just running around the map in a bot game here, we are easily above 200 FPS most of the time, sometimes dipping down into the 160s, but in terms of playability, CS is not an issue for this little guy right here. Keep in mind, too, that this GPU does not use PCIe power from the power supply. It gets all of its power from the PCIe slot on the motherboard. Overall, a very smooth run for CS on Dust 2 here. Next, we ran the enemy of my test bench, Halo Infinite. We ran the settings on the low preset. We pulled out an average FPS of 69. Giggity was actually a surprise with this that Halo's a pretty demanding game, even on low, and our minimum FPS was 61. Our max was 81 frames per second. Actually, bananas that we stayed above 60. It's a solid gaming experience in Halo Infinite for sure, but the same cannot be said for Doom Eternal. I know, I'm just as surprised as you are. Now, I ran Doom at high, and we were struggling to keep it above 40 FPS, and I'm sure at low it would have been a fine experience, but like, this is Doom. Like, it should have run on a rustic potato sack with no issues. Still playable above 30, but not my preferred way to play. Very sad about this one here. I just don't know why I guess it just can't handle it. Now keep in mind, we were running on DirectX as well and not on Vulkan, but the whole point of these tests is to kind of push these cards as much as we can. But yeah, very, very sad about that one there. But what I'm not sad about, and please give a round of applause to our new game in the lineup, Warzone 2. Now in Warzone on low, we actually had an average FPS of 60, which is a solid surprise for me. It's my understanding that Warzone is not the most optimized game out there, but this little guy was handling it like a champion. Our minimum did drop down to 42, but our max at one point did hit 104 frames per second. Very playable experience, which, if I'm honest, I did not expect that at all. So we did replace Apex Legends with Warzone. I just kind of feel like I'm personally playing Warzone more often now than I've played Apex in the last 2 years, so I'm not really big into testing Apex because that's not something that I really play. Now, most of these tests I don't really play a ton of, but we only have limited time to do these videos, and I don't want to add 50,000 games to the lineup. So for now, Warzone 2 will be replacing Apex Legends on the channel. Now for the final test, we saved the best for last. Fortnite, of course. Let's let the kids know if Fortnite can be played on this GPU. And of course, I am beyond happy to report that playing on the 1050 Ti must have been fate at this point, as this card brought the channel its first win in these bench tests. And we had some decent frames too. We were playing the medium setting on DirectX 12. Yes, I am aware performance mode does exist, so you could probably squeeze out a lot better performance than I did, but I want to push these cards when I test them, so we left it on DirectX 12. We had an average FPS of 85. Our minimum did drop to 33. That was probably from jumping out of the bus at one point. And we did hit 116 frames per second as a maximum when playing Fortnite on the GTX 1050 Ti. So there you go. While I would not wholeheartedly recommend this card for budget 2023 gaming, I can say that I was very pleasantly surprised with the results of these tests. And again, thank you, GTX 1050 Ti, for bringing the channel its first win. Yay, I don't know, maybe I'll do some like, you know, confetti. The 10 series cards hold a special place in my heart, and I cannot wait to get my hands on some more 10 series cards to throw on this bench and to do some tests and to let you guys know how well it performs in 2023. Guys, that's the video. If you like this one, I know you're gonna like this guy right up here. If you like stuff like that, I have a whole playlist right there that you can check out yourself. Click on one of those, and I will see you when you get over there. Take care.